Would you like, you're the manager of the Australian Opal Centre, Jean.
I am, yes.
How long has it been here for?
Okay, this display has been here since December 2008. It was opened by the Governor of New South Wales, Murray Bashir, in December 2008.
Yep.
The project's actually been running since 1997, and we're endeavouring to build a national opal museum featuring the opals, the fossils and the people of Australia's outback opal fields.
So you are part of the new multi-million-dollar exhibition,
Indeed, the one that's planned for the historic 3 Mile site.
which Warwick tells me tenders haven't been called for, but some expenditure has already been undertaken. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
How long before that's up and running, would you think?
That's funding dependent. At this stage we're ready to go. All we need is a few $1 million. So, you know.
Tourism is what it's all about.
It's about tourism, but it's also about promoting the opal industry, providing the opal industry with its first national coordinated centre for research and promotion, and it's about education and research.
And so it's a little bit like the Fossil Centre in Bathurst.
In the sense that it's a museum.
Yes,
yes. In the sense that it has fossils and it's a museum.
I've talked to Warren Somerville, who's the director of that, and whom you would probably know. I went to see him, but he was ill, but that's life. Why don't you just quickly show us around the exhibits, if you wouldn't mind?
Yeah, sure.
Just tell us a little bit.
Okay, in the first showcase here we have a display that's mostly about opal and opal mining. Now, some of that display is missing at the moment because we've got a special feature exhibit about the opal clay pottery by local potter Graham Anderson. Graham says that he never made much of a success as an opal miner, so instead he learned how to use the pottery from the opal mines to make the clay from the opal mines to make pottery.
Make the pottery, yes.
On the top shelf we have some beautiful little old artefacts that were mined, actually mined by one of our donors, Dave Gallman, and he discovered them in toe dirt that had been left in a mine that had probably been worked in about the 1930s. So they're little relics from about 80 years ago. We have Harold Hodges' opal teeth. Now this is one of our iconic display pieces. Harold Hodges lived here in the 60s and 70s and in the early 80s. And he was an SP bookie, an opal dealer, ran the opal abattoir, started a local museum, bit of a character, and he took some opal to a friend in Parkes who was a dentist and had an opal denture made up.
You talking about him means that you might very well know Barry O'Leary, who wrote the field guide to Australian opals. Yeah. Who's a friend of mine.
Right, well I don't know Barry personally, but I know him by reputation.
And he might very well come back to the Ridge. He was talking about that just a fortnight ago.
Right, yes.
And sort of arrangements are being made. So there you are. That's another little snippet for you.
Yeah. Down here we've got some samples of different kinds of opal.
Yep.
And in the bottom we've got some opal dirt on the left that's been gouged out of the mine wall, and on the right after it's been processed. So that's something that tourists are interested to see. And also geologists and other scientists who want to learn about.
Which is what Barry's field is all about. Can we quickly go on to the next one?
These are digger teeth from a big excavator from an open cut mine. Now most of the open mining here, as you know, is underground tunnel shaft mining. But every now and again we get a big open cut mine, and this photograph here actually shows those in place. With some
we have a friend who does that.
Right.
Karen Thurston's partner, Steve, is an open cut.
I know Karen and Steve very well.
And Steve, it was Steve who took me out to the Adgie site the other day, when I shouldn't have been, but I got sprung by Warwick.
Now this case contains fossils from 110 million years ago, when dinosaurs and other animals and plants roamed this area. Lightning Ridge was a lot closer to the South Pole, and we were a heavily forested and quite a moist place. So these are beautiful fossils of plants from 110 million years ago, little exquisite pine cones and pieces of wood. And on the top shelf we've got examples of fossils from other opal fields. Now Lightning Ridge is special because at that time it was on the shore of an inland sea, so we have freshwater and land-living plants and animals. But in the other opal fields, particularly South Australia and White Cliffs, it was actually under the inland sea at that time, so they have marine plants and animals.
Quite different then.
Quite different. And in Queensland, it was also probably a land environment, but they have a quite different array of fossils being produced. Moving on to this cabinet, more fossils. These ones are from the waterways at this time. We have fish teeth and backbones. We have the teeth of plesiosaurs that were swimming reptiles. We have turtle bones and pieces of turtle shell. This one here is actually a replica of a turtle skull from Lord Howe Island, from the group of turtles called myelanids or horned turtles, and the reason it's there is that we have the oldest horned turtle fossils in the world produced in Lightning Ridge. We have beautiful little snails and whelks, and these are freshwater snails. These are all extinct species that are unknown from anywhere else. These are incredible things. All of these fossils are amongst the most rare fossils in the world. They say at about 1 in a billion plants or animals is preserved as a fossil. Opal's one of the rarest gemstones in the world. So when you put those two incredibly rare phenomena together, you get some of the world's most precious and scientifically significant fossils.
What do you do about insurance and things like that?
As if I'm going to tell you that on camera.
I suppose, but I suppose that's right, of course.
Yes.
But it's irreplaceable, you see.
It's absolutely irreplaceable, and this collection's been built by the opal mining community. Now, a lot of material gets damaged during the mining process, but on the other hand, if the miners weren't going down back through time into the ground, we would never have seen these
any
things
of
or known
this.
about them.
Yes.
And the miners these days are generally very aware of how precious and scientifically important these things are, and so they do their very best to make it possible for the fossils to come into our public collection and stay in the community.
Wonderful.
Then we have lungfish fossils, fossils of mussels, freshwater mussels. We have tiny little fossilised crocodile teeth and backbones. And we've got fossils of yabby buttons, and a yabby button is something that forms in a yabby before it sheds its shell, and it stores the calcium and minerals from its shell. It sheds its shell, then re-releases the minerals to harden its new shell. They've been doing it for more than 100 million years, and these are the only opalised yabby buttons known in the world.
I'm joking.
Moving on to the last cabinet here, it's our dinosaur cabinet. These are opalised dinosaur bones.
And isn't this a particular spot for dinosaur bones?
It is indeed, and it's, as far as I know, the only site in New South Wales that produces dinosaur bones.
Lake Mungo, I think.
No, Lake Mungo, there are other places that have fossil bones, and Lake Mungo has wonderful megafaunal bones, but they're much younger. They're from the time when Aborigines were living in the landscape along with the other animals and plants, so they're much younger. They're from maybe 40,000 years ago, or I'm not sure on the exact dates, but they're from the time of human habitation. This is way before humans even evolved.
And this is a bit of what Karen tries to capture.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
In a lot of her paintings and out at her
camp,
camp,
with
which we've
dinosaur mural on the wall,
which we've got pictures of.
So this one, for instance, is a foot bone. It's called a third metatarsal, and that's from the foot of a theropod dinosaur. And if you look at the picture in the background, you can see the red bone in the picture is the same bone in a human foot, photographed standing right beside that bone. So you can see that's from the foot of a very large dinosaur.
Fascinating.
So we had big dinosaurs here. We also had little dinosaurs, as small as a bantam hen.
Really?
These are beautiful little tiny dinosaur toe bones and a claw bone. And you can
Dinosaurs which flew though?
Dinosaurs which flew, quite possibly, yes. Yeah.
Because they did fly.
Some of them did.
Some
of them did, that's right.
We're starting to run short on my space.
Okay, well, I think you've got the bulk of it, but I'll just tell you a little more about the project.
Please.
We've got an amazing two-storey underground building planned.
Yes.
And the Australian Opal Centre will give Australia its first centre where people can come and learn about opal and its fossils and enjoy the incredible cultural heritage of the opal fields.
When do you hope perhaps that might really get underway and be open?
We're applying for federal funding this year.
Yeah.
We're also negotiating with the state government, and we're looking for a lot of philanthropic support from corporations and from the community. We've had fantastic support from the community.
Have you?
Oh yeah,
Really?
yeah. We've had more than.
How much promotion do you do to get people here?
To get people
To come
Here,
in.
to
into
come
the
here.
room or into Lightning Ridge.
Well, both, you see.
Yeah.
You first of all got to get people to come here and then into here.
Well, the promotion to get people to Lightning Ridge is done mostly by Lightning Ridge Tourism
Yeah.
Association.
And that's
they do a lot of
increasing pretty well.
Oh yeah, the visitor numbers to Lightning Ridge have been increasing while
Very much.
visitor numbers elsewhere
Yeah.
have been declining. Yeah.
We've got 20 seconds left.
Don't
Quick,
get this bone quick.
Look at this bone quick.
quick.
It's a
This is a dinosaur bones that are still in the clay stone that they were
Yeah. Amazing.
preserved in.
We have literally 8 seconds, 5, 4, 3,
It's
2.
absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much, Jen.